Question 10. Write 0.0000506 in standard form. Now remember, standard form has to have three parts. It's got to begin with a number between 1 and up to 10, but it can't be 10. So in other words, 9.9 recurring. It's got to have a time sign and it's got to have a power of 10. Remember, positive powers of 10 give you large numbers that are more than 1. Negative powers 10 give you tiny numbers, which are generally decimals, like 0.0 something. So what we've got to do to turn this into standard form is, first of all, skip past all the zeros and then underline everything that comes after all the zeros, which is 506. And we need to turn that into a number between 1 and 9.9 recurring. So that's going to be 5.06. If you were thinking that it's 5.6, that is wrong, but we'll have a look at why that's wrong in a minute. But so it's 5.06. You've got to have a times 10. And then all you've got to do then is figure out how many places the decimal point has moved. So if we go back to the original question, it's there and it's moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places. So the power has to be a 5. However, because it's a really, really small number and we're moving the decimal point, you can either think of it as moving the decimal point to the right or the digits to the left. Because we're making a really, really small number, it's got to be a negative power of 10. So 5.06 times 10 to the power of negative 5 is 0.0000506. Let's just double check what that would be if we accidentally left it as a positive power of 10. Let's look at the difference. So if you are doing it to a negative power of 5, then you would take the decimal point out, 506, and you would move the decimal point to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you would fill in all your zeros, and that gets you back to the actual original question, so we know that's right. If it was a positive power of 10, so 10 to the power of positive 5, then you take the decimal point out, but the decimal point is moving the opposite direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is the major difference between a negative power and a positive power. So the negative power of 10 is 0.0000506, like we had in the question. The positive power of 10 is 506,000. We're also going to say why you've got to include this 0 between the 5 and the 6. If you don't include the 0 and you just go for 5.6, when you take the decimal point out and move it 5 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you actually would not get what we originally started with. That number is not the same as that number because the 0 is missing between the 5 and the 6. So that's why we've got to begin our standard form with 5.06 instead of just 5.6.